members, now it's your time. It's question number 151. Santosh Kumar ji, question number 151. Minister. Supplementary. Mr. Kumar, first supplementary.
Taken by the ministry to solve the problem of cotton. May I know the steps taken by the ministry to solve the problem of acute shortage of cotton? Acute shortage of cotton is a serious issue. May I know the steps taken by the ministry to solve the problem?
औद्योगिक उद्यम जैसे कि चरखा, चरखी उपकरण, बुनाई कर्मों का प्रसारण और सुधार, सामान सुविधा केंद्रों की स्थापना, नए उत्पादों के विकास के लिए डिजाइन परामर्शदाताओं की नियुक्ति, मौजूदा डिजाइनों के उधार में फैशन सुधार और उद्योग में नई नवीनतम डिजाइनिंग की शुरुआत, प्रक्रिया के लिए फैब्रिक चरण के बाद नवीनतम प्रौद्योगिकी को अपनाकर मूल्यवर्धन करना आदि है। केवीआईसी आउटलेटों को बेहतर स्वरूप प्रदान करने के लिए अपने बिक्री आउटलेटों के नवीकरण और साथ ही उनकी बिक्री कार्यशैली को सुधारने के लिए खादी संस्था को वित्तीय सहायता प्रदान करता है। विशेष रूप से खादी केवीआईसी खादी ब्रांडों के हितों की रक्षा के लिए खादी ट्रेडमार्क पंजीकरण शुरू किया है। विशेष रूप से 12 ये सारी चीजें हैं जिनके माध्यम से हम जो डिजाइनों को आगे बढ़ा रहे हैं।
Second supplementary, Mr. Kumar.
Over in the country, these khadi workers are not getting minimum wages. Will you instruct the states to ensure minimum wages to khadi workers?
Mr. Minister.
MMDA के माध्यम से उन्हें सहायता अनुरूप दिया जाता है, अनुदान के रूप में दिया जाता है। लागत का 30% नगद लाभ मिल रहा है। कुल MPDA लाभ से 30% और 10% DBT के तहत प्रतिदान के रूप में क्रमशः कारीगरों व अन्य कार्यकर्ताओं को जाता है। शेष 40% खादी उत्पादक संस्थाओं को जाता है और 20% खादी उत्पादक संस्थाओं के माध्यम से खादी की बिक्री करने वाली संस्था को शेयर किया जाता है।
Supplementary by Mr. Thambudurai. Mr. Thambudurai.
Yes, Chairman, sir. I am appreciating the government effort to promote the khadi industries. There are so many institutions the minister mentioned in his reply. Nearly 2,398 institutions are functioning in India, and also Tamil Nadu 75 institutions are functioning. I am even appreciating the Honorable Minister for what are the steps taken by the Honorable Government to promote the khadi. At the same time, I want to know what is the amount allocated for the khadi industries, especially for Tamil Nadu. I want to know what is the any special scheme announced by the government for the Tamil Nadu to promote the khadi industries, sir.
माननीय सभापति महोदय, तमिलनाडु के लिए उसमें एक्स्ट्रा टेरिटरी लगा हुआ है, उसमें उसका उत्तर दे दिया गया है। पूरे प्रदेशों का राष्ट्र में जितने भी प्रदेश है 35 के 35 प्रदेशों का और उसमें लगा दिया गया है। सब हमें
Supplementary by Sri Sujit Kumar. Mr. Sujit Kumar.
In every Indian's heart, because it is part of our freedom movement, it was part of the Swadeshi movement.
Right, go here.
And though the government has done enough to promote khadi, there is a matter of concern, and that is there is a 5% GST which is charged on cotton silver, which is a raw material to produce khadi. So now my request to you, sir, and to the Honourable Minister, will you consider proposing to the GST Council to exempt this cotton silver from the GST so that khadi can be further promoted in our country.
Honorable members, it is your time. Question hour is your time, members' time. Please participate in the question hour. Please participate in the question hour. Mr. Minister.
जीएसटी लगाने की बात की है, विशेष रूप से जीएसटी लगाने के देश में व्यवसाय से जितने भी हमारे संसाधन हैं, जो भी लोन मिलता है, जो भी उत्पादन करते हैं, उनमें ये छूट दी गई 5% जीडीपी की छूट दी गई है.
Supplementary by Arnath Singh Yadav.
माननीय मंत्री से जानना चाहता हूँ कि शुद्ध खादी की परिभाषा क्या है और क्या सरकार के संज्ञान में है कि खादी और खादी से बने हुए परिधानों की अधिक कीमत तथा नीची गुणवत्ता के कारण खादी के प्रति आकर्षण कम हो रहा है. तो यदि हाँ, तो खादी की गुणवत्ता को सुधारने के लिए सरकार की कोई क्या कार्य योजना है?
अध्यक्ष महोदय, खादी की मुख्य परिभाषा जो है कुल हाथ से बने हुए जो कपड़े बनाए जाते हैं वो खादी की स्रोत में आते हैं, और अन्य मशीन से द्वारा बनाए हुए जो भी खादी निर्माण किए जाते हैं वो खादी की श्रेणी में नहीं आते. विशेष रूप से इसके लिए ढेर सारी योजनाएं तैयार की गई हैं और खादी की बढ़ोतरी के लिए हमने नए नए केंद्र भी खोले हैं, जिससे वहाँ से बिक्री हो और ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोग खादी को खरीद सकें.
धन्यवाद. क्वेश्चन नंबर 152, Sri Narayan Das Gupta. Narayan Das Gupta. Your supplementary. First supplementary.
Yes, first supplementary. There is a one act. I will say there is a one act, Street Vendor Prevention and Livelihood and Regulatory Street Vendor Act 2014.
Statement is laid on the table of the House.
First supplementary. Mr. Das Gupta, first supplementary.
Street Vendor Protection Livelihood Regulation Street Vending Act 2014. There are provisions to constitute a committee for that and to identify the persons, to identify the vendors and issue them certificate. My question to Honorable Minister is, what is the latest position, whether they have constituted any committee, there is any time frame, by what time?
We are listening. Minister is listening. Please carry on.
Say house is not in order.
Sir, house is not ordered. What sir I should do?
But your colleague is not in order.
Sir, I am not able to listen. House is not in order.
But we are listening to you.
No, that is there.
We are listening to you, Mr. Minister.
Sir, I want to first thank the honourable member for asking this question on the street vendors. The operative thrust of this question is how the Swanidhi scheme, which deals with street vendors, how they contribute to the GDP of the country. Now, sir, the street vendors, even after the 2014 Act was passed, they continued, and the Swanidhi scheme, which was introduced at the height of the pandemic in 2020, so the Swanidhi, in 2020, when the scheme was announced, in 1 week, an outline was rolled out. In about 1 or 2 months, a detailed blueprint was produced. Today, we have already extended 3,683 crores of rupees to street vendors to make them micro entrepreneurs. Initially through 10,000 rupees loan, then 20,000 rupees loan, and then a 30,000 rupees loan. When they pay the loan back, they are then included into the formal economy through digital. Their details are uploaded, and they also become eligible for different schemes of the Prime Minister. Several of these are well available, sir. Sir, insofar as the 2014 Act and these committees are concerned, this is ongoing work which the urban local bodies have to undertake by themselves. I would be very happy to share with the honourable member which local body has undertaken what surveys. This answer to the question already provides state-wise, urban territory-wise, union territory-wise, all the details of how many street vendors have been given loans under the Swanidhi scheme. Both the numbers and those details are provided in the body of the answer, sir.
Thank you. Second supplementary.
Yes, sir, I have.
Shri Narayan
I would like
Das
to
Gupta
say-
ji.
Sir,
Second supplementary.
Yes, sir. I have a question to the Honorable Minister. On 14th of June, sir,
You carry on. We are listening. Minister is listening to you. Please. Please, Mr. Gupta.
on 14th of June, there is a direction given by the Police Commissioner of Delhi to remove the street vendors. My request to the Honorable Minister is whether he would like to pass the instruction to the Police Commissioner not to remove all these street vendors. This is Patliwala.
Sir, I want to thank the honourable member for asking this very important question. And sir, the heart of this Swanidhi scheme is to give respect and dignity to the street vendors. Now, the Street Vendors Act of 2014 was the start of a process through legislative provision. Now we are also celebrating, as part of our 75th year celebration, of events to honor the street vendors and to celebrate their lives. Insofar as the specific question of Delhi is concerned, my attention was drawn to this. Sir, as of today, we have a new police commissioner in Delhi, and I would be very happy to tell the police commissioner, it seems, sir, that the street vendors have been at the receiving end from urban local bodies, from police authorities. We are now trying to change that, and the Swanidhi scheme effectively gives them new respect, a new dignity, and they will not only be recognized, they have been an important part of our economic story. Now they will be given a higher place in society through the actions we have taken. But insofar as the Delhi issue is concerned, individual, we will certainly, we speak to all. I have written to the chief ministers of all the states, we have written to the chief secretaries and to the concerned authorities that the street vendors must be given due respect and that their dignity should be uppermost. They should be made to be feel wanted in our economic story. And I am sure, sir, that is something that is currently underway.
Thank you. Leader of the House.
To all my honorable colleagues,
Please go to your seat. Please go to your seat.
that we have very important legislative business. Then we have price rise to be discussed. They have been demanding that price rise be discussed. Today it is listed in the Lok Sabha. Tomorrow it will be listed in the Rajyasabha. The opposition had collectively assured us that once the date is finalized and it is listed, we will allow the House to run properly. Many members are coming here, they have important issues. I appeal to my honorable colleagues from the opposition to allow the House to function smoothly. We are lawmakers and not lawbreakers. Those who break the law face the consequences of the law. I would appeal to them, let law take its own course. Government cannot interfere in the law enforcement agencies. They are doing their job. I would honestly appeal to the opposition to allow the House to run so that important legislative business is done. Also, we have price rise discussion pending, and otherwise we will be perforce required to run the House every day late or extend the working of the House. So it's important that we all come to a agreed position and let the House function. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Please go to your seat. Please go to your seat. Let the House function. Later on you can. He wants to say. LOP has not requested. LOP has not requested for time. He has not requested. Even then I am requesting him so that he can say something about what has been said by the leader of the House. If you want to say something on the discussion on price rise, if you want to say something, you can say.
1 minute सुनिए.
देखिए हाउस
All of us, please go to your seats. Please go to your seats.
नहीं, वो तो अपने सीट पे बैठे हैं। मेरा निवेदन आपसे यही है कि जो मुद्दे आपके सामने हमने रखे हैं और खास करके नोटिसेस भी दिए हैं, उन नोटिस का जिक्र भी आपने नहीं किया, जो झारखंड में हो रहा है, जो महाराष्ट्र में हो रहा है, जो आसाम में और
Don't disturb LOP. Don't disturb LOP. You are disturbing LOP. You are disturbing LOP. You are the same party. You are disturbing your own LOP. What is that?
देखिए गुजरात में अरे ये 100-150 लोग मर चुके हैं और हमने महंगाई मुद्दे पे तो चर्चा के लिए आपसे सतत कोशिश कर रहे हैं, फिर भी आप उसके ऊपर कुछ नहीं कहना चाहते।
ये
तो
थैंक यू
नहीं
थैंक यू नहीं, आपने प्राइस राइज के ऊपर डिस्कस करने की बात की है। इट विल बी डिस्कस टुमारो।
आपका दोस्त क्या कर रहा है?
इट इज बीइंग डिस्कस्ड इन लोकसभा टुडे सर एंड इट विल बी डिस्कस्ड हियर टुमारो। मिस्टर विजय रेड्डी,
इलेक्टेड गवर्नमेंट को डिस्टेबलाइज कर।
सर हमने एग्री किया है, प्राइस राइज पे डिस्कशन कल होगा, इसके ऊपर हम सबने सहमति भी बनाई थी और ये बात हुई थी कि एक बार डेट तय हो जाए तो हाउस अच्छी तरीके से चलेगा सुचारू रूप से। आज लोकसभा में लिस्टेड है, कल राज्यसभा में 2 बजे प्राइस राइज पे डिस्कशन होगा और जहाँ तक नोटिस का बात है, आज सुबह ही डिस्टर्ब किया तो चेयरमैन हैव टू एडजर्न। तो मुझे लगता है एलओपी की बात हमने एग्री की है, प्राइस राइज पे कल डिस्कशन होगा। अभी हमने लेजिस्लेटिव बिजनेस के लिए और क्वेश्चन आवर के लिए अलाउ करना चाहिए।
धन्यवाद। So, leader of the house has said the discussion on price rise will come tomorrow. Vijay Reddy.
Sir, in the light of the fact that the rejection rate under PM Swanidhi is about 25% and the higher percentage are in pending status, I would like to know from the Honorable Minister, does the government intend to use this PM Swanidhi to include street vendors in the formal economic structure of the economy? In the formal economic structure of the economy to get accurate picture of India's GDP. Thank you very much.
Minister.
Sir, I want to thank the honourable member. As I said in the response to the earlier supplementary, town vending committees are in place in local areas in pursuance of the Street Vendors Act 2014. Now, this is a subject under the purview of the state governments. The Swanidhi scheme has the effect of facilitating the transfer of the 40 or 50 lakh street vendors that we have in India from the pure informal economy, where for their daily survival they have to take money, borrow money at exorbitant rates. Sometimes the rates are as high as 3,600% per year, by being given micro loans of 10,000 rupees initially, and then if they pay it back, immediately getting 20,000 and a third loan of 50,000, a total of 90,000. You are converting people, first releasing them from the clutches of money lenders, and then you are transferring them through their joining the formal economy, and then you will be able to measure, as is being done, their contribution to the national GDP. Insofar as the rejection rate is concerned, the rejection rate is not something that the center can monitor. The individual goes, and I can tell you, the banks are now freely granting these loans. We have already given loans to 32 lakh people. The total amount of money lent is already over 3,683 crore. Many of these people have in fact now moved from the first loan of 10,000 to the second loan of 20,000. It is our expectation that the entire body of street vendors, whether they are 40 lakhs, more or less, this will depend on local surveys which have to be carried out by the town vending committees, the exact number. I have full confidence that the system working as one, system working as a whole, will be able to provide loans to all eligible persons. And I want to add for the information of the honourable member that earlier there was a cut-off date. That if you were a street vendor before a particular date, only then you would qualify for a loan. Now we have proceeded and saying that you don't need a pass to street. In other words, if somebody wants to take to the street vending profession, he or she will get the opportunity. That's also very heartening that a lot of ladies, women, our sisters and mothers have also partaken and participated as recipients of loan. So this is a scheme which is working exceptionally well, and in going forward, I'm sure, even though the scheme was only laid out in 2020, we have a situation today that there is a full rollout in all parts of the country. And insofar as the rejection rate issue is concerned, sir, the money has to be lent by a designated bank. Whenever we receive any information from any state or union territory that any difficulty is being faced, my colleagues in the ministry are personally in touch with the bank to facilitate.
Please be brief, Mr. Minister.
I'm very happy to contribute further if we so desire.
Thank you. Supplementary, Rakesh Sinha. Mr. Rakesh Sinha.
सभापति महोदय, मैं आपको धन्यवाद देता हूं कि आपने भारतीय यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने पहली बार स्ट्रीट वेंडर्स को एक सोशल डिग्निटी देते हुए उसको इकोनॉमिक एंटिटीज के रूप में स्वीकार किया है। मैं माननीय मंत्री जी से जानना चाहता हूं, जो शहर के स्ट्रीट वेंडर्स हैं वे तो आसानी से इस दौर में आ गए हैं, क्या सरकार पूरे देश में स्ट्रीट वेंडर्स का एक मैपिंग करेगी जिससे पूरे देश में स्ट्रीट वेंडर्स की एक सूची बने, उनका रजिस्ट्रेशन के लिए इनको उत्साहित किया जाए और उन तक हमारी योजनाएं पहुंच पाएं। एक बार फिर मैं इसमें एक बात जोड़ना चाहता हूं कि प्रधानमंत्री जी ने जिस प्रकार से स्ट्रीट वेंडर्स को आर्थिक सहायता देना और उनको एक मार्केट फोर्स के अंदर लाना, जिसके कारण उनका जीडीपी में योगदान को स्वीकार किया जा रहा है, मैं मंत्री जी से इसमें एक सुझाव भी देता हूं और जानना भी चाहता हूं, क्या ऐसे स्ट्रीट वेंडर की हायरार्की ऑफ इकोनॉमिक रूल क्या तय करेगी? कुछ स्ट्रीट वेंडर्स ऐसे हैं जिनका योगदान 5,000 का है, कुछ स्ट्रीट वेंडर्स ऐसे हैं जिनका योगदान 1 लाख रुपए का है। तो हायरार्की तय करने से सरकार को सुविधा होगी उनको सहायता देने में। धन्यवाद।
I want to thank the honorable member. उन्होंने जो सुझाव दिया, बहुत अच्छा सुझाव दिया। उनका सुझाव ये कहता है कि हमें इस योजना, जो मैं समझता हूँ माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी की केंद्रीय योजनाओं में से और इनोवेटिव योजना है, इसका हमें और प्रचार करना चाहिए। I want to inform the honorable member that already out of the targeted 40 or 45 lakh street vendors, loans have been availed of already by about 32 lakh vendors already. और इसमें से the details of the concerned recipient, about 12 lakh plus have already been uploaded. But we are constantly in the process of talking to the banks, of having seminars. Only the other weekend, sir, previous weekend, I attended a program very well organized by Navi in Delhi, where there were about 3,500 street vendors. And every time they come to us with a suggestion, we are very happy to pass that on. One of the suggestions that came from that meeting, sir, was what another honorable member had said, that the concerned police authority should be told to enforce it within the spirit of the Street Vendors Act. That is something we are doing. Sir, once a person is entitled, we don't maintain a hierarchy of 5,000, 10,000. Our intention is that every participant in the Swanidhi scheme, whether he or she is a small entrepreneur, medium entrepreneur or a large one, so some of them have got uploaded and joined with very well-established platforms, Swiggy and Zomato, etc. Our intention is that everyone's potential must be allowed to be tapped to full extent, and that whatever need they have for money, they are released from the clutches of the money lenders and come into the formal sector. Their contribution will then be acknowledged. They will also become eligible for all the Prime Minister's schemes. And if I had more time, I would list out all the schemes. And in the process, we go to an informal economy and encouraging them to become part of the formal economy and contribution to the GDP will then also be measured as part of an ongoing process.
Thank you. Supplementary by Ravilaban Bara.
धन्यवाद सभापति जी। पीएम निधि तहत लाखों पथ विक्रेताओं ने अपना आत्मनिर्भर बने हैं। आपके माध्यम से मैं पीएम को धन्यवाद देना चाहती हूँ और माननीय मंत्री से मैं जानना चाहती हूँ कि जैसे शहरी पथ विक्रेता आत्मनिर्भर बने हैं, ऐसा ग्रामीण स्तर पर छोटे छोटे गांवों में ऐसे पथ विक्रेता है, उनके लिए योजना लागू करने वाले हैं, वो जानना चाहती हूँ।
ये हमारी तो सर
Please be brief.
Sir, I'll be brief. Sir, this is a scheme presently intended for the urban sector because the street vending is done in urban areas, whether they are tier 1, tier 2, 3 cities, etc. So the scheme scope in terms of those of our brothers and sisters who are plying their wares in urban centers.
Thank you. The question number 153, Dr. Sumer Singh Solanki. Mr. Minister. First supplementary.
धन्यवाद माननीय उपसभापति महोदय। नर्मदे हर माननीय उपसभापति महोदय, नदियों के लिए स्वच्छता और विकास अभियान में भारत देश के अंदर जो काम हुआ है वो निश्चित रूप से काबिल तारीफ है और मैं इसके लिए भारत सरकार के माननीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी और हमारे माननीय मंत्री जी को बहुत धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगा और साथ में मैं ये भी कहना चाहूँगा कि देश भर की नदियों के लिए जो काम हमारी सरकार ने किए हैं उसके लिए मैं फिर से एक बार माननीय मंत्री जी का धन्यवाद तो देता ही हूँ, लेकिन जो उत्तर मुझे दिया गया मैं उससे संतुष्ट भी हूँ। बहुत अच्छा उत्तर दिया गया है। माननीय मंत्री जी से मैं ये जानना चाहता हूँ कि मध्य प्रदेश में नर्मदा नदी करीब 1312 किलोमीटर लंबी है और अधिकतम प्रवाह क्षेत्र मध्य प्रदेश में है, लेकिन ये मध्य प्रदेश की जीवन रेखा भी है मां नर्मदा। पूरे बहाव क्षेत्र के दौरान जो नर्मदा नदी के किनारे बड़े बड़े शहर हैं, उन शहरों के गंदे नालों का पानी नर्मदा जी के अंदर मिल रहा है। मैं माननीय मंत्री जी से ये जानना चाहता हूँ कि ये गंदा पानी जो मां नर्मदा के अंदर मिल रहा है, इसको रोकने के लिए कोई ठोस कदम उठाए जा रहे हैं क्या? मैं ये जानना चाहता हूँ।
धन्यवाद माननीय सभापति महोदय। मैं अपने प्रश्न का उत्तर दूं उससे पहले माननीय सदस्य का जो शब्द उन्होंने अप्रिसिएशन से कहे उसके लिए उनका अभिनंदन करना चाहता हूं, उनका धन्यवाद ज्ञापित करता हूं। निश्चित ही माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व में देश में गंगा, उसकी सहायक नदियों और देश की अन्य नदियों के अविरल और निर्मल बनाने की दिशा में जो काम हुए हैं उसको सारे विश्व में एक अनूठी पहचान मिली है। माननीय सभापति महोदय, माननीय सदस्य ने नर्मदा नदी में मध्य प्रदेश में होने वाले पोल्यूशन के बारे में चर्चा की। मैं माननीय सदस्य और सदन की जानकारी के लिए बताना चाहता हूं कि देश में नदियों में पोल्यूशन के स्तर का आकलन करना, उसका लेखा जोखा करना और उसके बारे में रिपोर्ट तैयार करना और एक मानक से ज्यादा पोल्यूशन जिन नदियों में है उनको सूचीबद्ध करना, जिस स्ट्रेच में पोल्यूशन है उसे सूचीबद्ध करना, ये सेंट्रल पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड की जिम्मेदारी है। सेंट्रल पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड पीरियडिकली इस तरह के असेसमेंट करके विभिन्न नदियों में जो स्ट्रेचेज पोल्यूटेड है उनको आइडेंटिफाई करता है और उनको क्वांटिफाई करके और उनके बारे में राज्यों को और केंद्र सरकार को सूचित करता है। देश में जो अभी आखिरी प्राप्त रिपोर्ट है उसके हिसाब से सीपीसीबी ने जो 351 नदियों में 351 स्ट्रेचेस 323 नदियों में जो आइडेंटिफाई और रिपोर्ट किए, उनमें नर्मदा का एक भी स्ट्रेच ऐसा नहीं है जो पोल्यूटेड हो, ग्रॉसली पोल्यूटेड हो।
लेकिन निश्चित ही नदियों में पोल्यूशन लगातार विभिन्न शहरों के माध्यम से शहरों में उत्सर्जित होने वाले इंडस्ट्रियल और इंडस्ट्रियल एफ्लुएंट और डोमेस्टिक सूवेज के कारण से बनता है। हमारा डोमेस्टिक सूवेज जनरेशन और ट्रीटमेंट कैपेसिटी के बीच में जो देश भर का गैप है, उसके कारण से केवल नर्मदा ही नहीं, देश की अन्य नदियों में भी इस तरह की चिंताजनक स्थिति पैदा होती है। लेकिन क्योंकि प्राइमरी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी राज्य सरकारों की है और राज्य सरकारों के म्युनिसिपल डिपार्टमेंट की है, इसलिए वो अपनी तरफ से जो सूची बना करके जो प्रस्ताव भारत सरकार को नेशनल रिवर कंजर्वेशन डायरेक्टरेट को भेजते हैं, हम उसको आकलन करके उसके अनुरूप राज्य सरकारों के एफर्ट्स को सप्लीमेंट करने के लिए फाइनेंशियल और टेक्निकल असिस्टेंस प्रोवाइड करते हैं। नर्मदा नदी के किसी भी पोल्यूटेड स्ट्रेच के बारे में किसी भी तरह का प्रस्ताव भारत सरकार में वर्तमान में लंबित नहीं है।
सेकंड सप्लीमेंट्री।
माननीय उपसभापति महोदय, मेरा दूसरा अनुपूरक प्रश्न है कि देश भर में नदियों की स्वच्छता के लिए जो कार्य किया जा रहा है वो निश्चित रूप से सराहनीय है, लेकिन इस स्वच्छता अभियान के बाद में नदियों में स्वच्छता के बाद में इसको निरंतर स्वच्छता बनाए रखने के लिए क्या सरकार की तरफ से कोई कड़े कानून बनाने का प्रावधान किया जा रहा है? और मैं साथ में ये भी पूछना चाहता हूँ कि सरदार सरोवर डैम में जो नर्मदा नदी के ऊपर 165 किलोमीटर बहती है, डैम के बैक वाटर में भविष्य में कोई जलमार्ग बनाकर उसको पर्यटन स्थल के रूप में विकसित करने की कोई योजना है क्या? माननीय सभापति महोदय, जहाँ तक जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर क्रिएट किए जाते हैं उनके सस्टेनेबिलिटी का प्रश्न है, तो निश्चित ही अत्यंत महत्वपूर्ण विषय जो पूर्ववर्ती सरकारों के द्वारा गंगा नदी और अन्य पोल्यूटेड स्ट्रेचेस पर जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर भारत सरकार की योजनाओं के माध्यम से या राज्यों की सरकारों ने भी बनाए हैं, उन सूवेज ट्रीटमेंट इंडस्ट्रियल एफ्लुएंट ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट्स को सुचारू रूप से चलें, ये एक चिंता का विषय और विवाद का प्रश्न हमेशा रहा है। इसीलिए माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी की प्रेरणा से उनके मार्गदर्शन में हमने जब गंगा नदी पर हम ये काम कर रहे थे और इस तरह के इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर क्रिएट कर रहे थे, तब हमने जो है वो इस विषय को आगे लंबे समय तक सस्टेनेबल बनाए रखने के लिए हाइब्रिड एन्युटी जैसी मॉडल्स को डेवलप किया और उसी के साथ साथ में राज्य सरकारों को हम निरंतर इस विषय में समीक्षा करके अपने संसाधनों को अपग्रेड करने का आग्रह करते हैं। माननीय सभापति महोदय, जो दूसरा प्रश्न माननीय सदस्य ने पूछा है कि जो डैम से ऊपर की साइड पे जलमार्ग बनाना है, वो न इस विषय से संबद्ध है और न ही इस प्रश्न से संबद्ध है, तो इस विषय में मैं अभी सदस्य को जानकारी देने में असमर्थ हूँ।
Thank you, Raghav Sabda, honorable members. Honorable members, please sit. Raghav Sabda is a new member. Do not deprive him of his opportunity. Don't deprive him of his opportunity. Go to his seat. He is a new member. Let him speak. He is a new member. Let him speak. Go to his seat. Go to his seat. He is a new member. Give him the opportunity. Don't deprive him. What is your demand? Price rise will be discussed tomorrow.
सर मैं एक ऐसे सूबे का प्रतिनिधित्व सर मैं सवाल पूछूं? सर
प्लीज
सर मैं
लिसनिंग, मिनिस्टर इज लिसनिंग।
सर मैं एक ऐसे सूबे का नुमाइंदा बन के सदन में आया हूं जिस सूबे का नाम ही 5 दरियाओं पे है, पंजाब। आज पंजाब में पानी की बहुत बुरी स्थिति है सर, और आज मैं आपके माध्यम से माननीय मंत्री जी को कहना चाहूंगा कि जब 1965 में भारत में अनाज की कमी हुई, तब पंजाब ने देश का पेट भरा और हरित क्रांति हो या धान की खेती हो, सारा जिम्मा पंजाब ने अपने कंधों पे उठाया। आज पंजाब में पानी की बहुत बुरी स्थिति है। आज 1 किलो राइस, 1 किलो चावल के उत्पादन में 5000 लीटर पानी लगता है सर, जिसके चलते आज पंजाब की पानी की स्थिति ऐसी है कि अंडरग्राउंड वाटर 500-600 फीट पे चला गया है। मैं आपके माध्यम से माननीय मंत्री जी से पूछना चाहता हूं कि केंद्र सरकार पंजाब के पानी के बारे में क्या सोच रही है? माननीय सभापति महोदय, मैं आपका संरक्षण चाहता हूं। माननीय सदस्य ने जो प्रश्न किया है वो कहीं भी
पानी और नदियों में हो रहे पोल्यूशन के कारण से पड़ रही परिस्थितियों से जुड़ा हुआ था, उससे संबद्ध नहीं है। लेकिन फिर भी मैं माननीय सदस्य और सदन की जानकारी के लिए बताना चाहता हूँ कि देश में जो निरंतर घटता हुआ भूगर्भ के जल का स्तर है वो देश भर में चिंता का विषय है और राज्य सरकारों के साथ में मिलकर के भारत सरकार निरंतर माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के अगुवाई में जल शक्ति अभियान के माध्यम से विभिन्न इनिशिएटिव्स के माध्यम से देश में भूगर्भ के जल का पुनः स्तरीकरण हो सके, रीस्टेबलाइजेशन हो सके, इसके लिए प्रयास करती है। मैं माननीय सदस्य की जानकारी के लिए बताना चाहता हूं कि निश्चय ही हमको अब सप्लाई साइड मैनेजमेंट के साथ साथ में डिमांड साइड मैनेजमेंट पर भी काम करना पड़ेगा। माननीय सदस्य जिस राजनीतिक पृष्ठभूमि से आते हैं, राज्य में संयोगवश उनकी सरकार है, इसलिए मैं माननीय सदस्य से भी आग्रह करूंगा कि राज्य सरकार को इस दिशा में जो प्रयास करने, आज क्रॉप डाइवर्सिफिकेशन के लिए राज्य सरकार को जो एफर्ट्स करने चाहिए, पानी की खपत कम से कम किस तरह से हो उसको और अधिक गति बढ़ाने की आवश्यकता है। मैं यहाँ हरियाणा सरकार के एफर्ट्स का उल्लेख करना चाहता हूँ। हरियाणा की सरकार ने अपने यहाँ चावल के उत्पादन को डिमोटिवेट करने के लिए, अगर कोई किसान चावल की जगह मक्का उत्पादन करता है तो उसको 100% MSP पे प्रोक्योरमेंट के साथ साथ में उसको वायबिलिटी गैप फंडिंग के भी एक योजना बनाई है और उसके कारण से आज लाखों हेक्टेयर जमीन जो है वो चावल से हट करके मक्का की खेती पर आई है और उसके चलते जो है वहाँ पानी का दोहन कंपैरेटिवली कम हुआ है। मैं माननीय सदस्य से आग्रह करूंगा कि अपने यहाँ राज्य की सरकार को भी इस बारे में आग्रह करें कि वो क्रॉप डाइवर्सिफिकेशन के ऊपर काम करें। हालांकि राज्य की सरकार ने अभी का जो उल्लेख माननीय सदस्य ने किया है कि जो चावल की फसल पैदा करने के लिए प्रति किलोग्राम जिस चावल के लिए जो 5000 लीटर पानी की आवश्यकता पड़ती है, पंजाब सरकार ने पंजाब ने पिछले कुछ वर्षों से डायरेक्ट सोइंग को प्रमोट करना शुरू किया है ताकि पानी की खपत को कम किया जा सके। इन एफर्ट्स को और अधिक गति प्रदान करने की आवश्यकता है और साथ ही साथ जल शक्ति अभियान में जिस तरह से भूगर्भ के जल पे पुनर्भरण के लिए काम किया, उस तरह की योजनाओं के ऊपर निश्चित रूप से राज्य में भी काम करने की आवश्यकता है।
धन्यवाद। कामाख्या प्रसाद तासा, सप्लीमेंट्री।
थैंक यू भाई सेवन सर। मैं मंत्री जी को धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूं, क्या वो विस्तृत से आंसर भी दिया है और बहुत सारे बात भी बोले हैं, उसका आंसर में भी है। मैं मंत्री जी से जानना चाहता हूं, क्या जो पोल्यूशन है, रिवर पोल्यूशन है, उसको रुकवाने के लिए माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का निर्देश में बहुत सारी संस्था काम कर रहे हैं। अभी मैं देखने के लिए मिला, चेयरमैन सर आप भी जानते हैं, भोरलू अभी भी पोल्यूटेड है, गुवाहाटी का भोरलू पोल्यूटेड है और जितना रिवर से असम में पोल्यूशन में देखा, ये फील्ड विजिट करने का क्या व्यवस्था है पोल्यूशन रुकवाने का? जो इंडस्ट्री लोग पानी फेंकते हैं, जो पानी भेजते हैं, इसका फील्ड विजिट क्या है ना? आप स्टेट गवर्नमेंट का ऊपर छोड़ दिया या सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट का क्या व्यवस्था से वो जो पोल्यूटेड वाटर है, पोल्यूटेड केमिकल्स है, उसको नदी में छोड़ते हैं, इसको रुकवाने के लिए आपका फील्ड विजिट का क्या व्यवस्था, उसको काइंडली जानकारी दीजिए।
माननीय सभापति महोदय, जैसा मैंने मूल प्रश्न का उत्तर देते हुए भी निवेदन किया था कि भारत के संविधान की व्यवस्था के अनुरूप चूंकि जल राज्य का विषय है, इसलिए प्राथमिक तौर पर इन सब का आकलन करना और इन सब का जो है मैपिंग करके इनकी रोकने की व्यवस्था करना ये राज्य सरकारों की जिम्मेदारी है। राज्य सरकारों में स्टेट पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड जो है वो इनके बारे में, राज्य प्रदूषण निवारण मंडल इसके बारे में आकलन करते हैं, इसकी फील्ड विजिट करते हैं और बाद में CPC भी सबको जो है एक्यूमुलेट करके उसके माध्यम से अपनी रिपोर्ट्स प्रस्तुत करके भारत सरकार को देती है। इसी अनुक्रम में मैं माननीय सदस्य की जानकारी के लिए बताना चाहता हूँ कि जो ग्रॉसली पॉल्यूटिंग इंडस्ट्रीज है, हमने 17 ऐसी नदियों को, 17 ऐसे इंडस्ट्रीज को आइडेंटिफाई किया है। CPCB ने उनको डिक्लेयर किया, एनलिस्ट करके, और राज्यों को सूचित किया है कि ये इंडस्ट्री जहां भी काम कर रही है, इस नेचर की इंडस्ट्रीज का पीरियडिकल मेंटेनेंस और मॉनिटरिंग करना चाहिए। राज्य सरकारें उनका पीरियडिकल मॉनिटरिंग मेंटेन करती है। उसी सूचीकरण के आधार पर देश भर में हर एक राज्य की एक सूची ग्रॉस पोल्यूटिंग इंडस्ट्रीज की बनी है। भारत सरकार के स्तर पर भी हमने एक सेंट्रल मॉनिटरिंग कमेटी अंडर सेक्रेटरी ऑफ जल शक्ति बनाई है, जो प्रत्येक माह इसकी जो है उस रिपोर्ट पर राज्यों के साथ में संवाद करके रिव्यू करती है। और साथ ही साथ में भारत सरकार के स्तर पर भी हम 68 पैरामीटर्स पर
इन पॉल्यूटिंग इंडस्ट्रीज का आकलन करके और इसको सूचीबद्ध करने का काम करते हैं।
Honorable members, Honorable LOP demanded the discussion on price rise. Listen to me. LOP demanded discussion on price rise. Leader of the House has agreed that discussion will take place tomorrow. So you are not to disturb the House. Don't bring.
पति जी
Paper. No point of papers to be laid on the table. General Retired V.K. Singh.
Sir, with your permission, I rise to lay papers on the table of the House as mentioned against my name as serial number 1 in the revised list of business today.
Sri V. Muralidharan.
Vice Chairman sir, with your permission, on behalf of my colleague Sri Danve Rao Sahib Dadarao ji, I rise to lay the papers listed against his name at serial number 2 in today's revised list of business.
Sri Banu Pratap Singh Verma.
माननीय सभापति महोदय, आपकी अनुमति से आज की संशोधित कार्यसूची में क्रम संख्या 3 पर मेरे नाम के आगे उल्लिखित कागजात को सदन के पटल पर रखता हूं।
श्री कौशल किशोर।
माननीय जी, आपकी अनुमति से मैं आज की कार्यसूची में क्रम संख्या 4 पर मेरे नाम के समस्त सूचीबद्ध कागजातों की एक प्रत हिंदी व अंग्रेजी में सभा पटल पर रखता हूं।
श्री विशेश्वर टुडू।
With your kind permission, I rise to lay the papers as mentioned against my name in today's list of business at serial number 5 on the table of the House. Thank you.
Report of the Committee on Public Undertaking, Dr. Amar Patnaik.
Sir, with your permission, I rise to lay on the table a copy in English and Hindi of the 17th report of the Committee on Public Undertakings on avoidable loss due to extension of loan in terminated projects relating to India Infrastructure Finance Company Limited, IIFCL, based on C&AG audit para number 5.2 of report number 18 of 2020.
Statements of the Department Related Standing Committee on Parliamentary Standing Committee on Chemicals and Fertilizers, Ayodhya Rami Reddy Allah.
I rise to lay on the table a copy each in English and Hindi of the final action taken statement showing final action taken by the government on the recommendations contained in the following action taken reports of the department related to Parliamentary Standing Committee on Chemicals and Fertilizers 2021-22. 25th action taken report on the recommendations of the committee contained in their 20th report on demands for grants 21-22 Department of Fertilizers. 26th action taken report on the recommendations of the committee contained in their 19th report on demands for grants 21-22 Department of Chemicals and Petrochemicals. 27th action taken report on the recommendations of the committee contained in their 16th report on demand and availability of petrochemicals including import and exports Department of Chemicals and Petrochemicals. And 28th action taken report on the recommendations of the committee contained in their 21st report on demands for grants 21-22 Department of Pharmaceuticals. Thank you.
आज आपका जन्मदिन है, आपके जन्मदिन की शुभकामनाएं।
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Statements by Ministers, Sri Prahlad Joshi.
Sir, with your permission, I rise to lay statement regarding the status of implementation of the recommendations contained in the 16th report of the Department-related Parliamentary Standing Committee on Coal, Mines and Steel on the demand for grants 21-22 pertaining to the Ministry of Coal.
Sri Vishesha Tudu.
Sir, with your kind permission, I rise to make a statement regarding status of implementation of recommendations contained in the 15th report of the Department-related Parliamentary Standing Committee on Water Resource on demands for grants 2022-23 partnering to the Department of Water Resource, River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation, Ministry of Jal Shakti. Sir, I lay this statement. Thank you.
Dhanyavad. The weapons of mass destruction and their delivery systems, prohibition of unlawful activities amendment bill to 2022. We will now take up the bill. Mr. Rakesh Sinha, you have to listen. 1 minute, 1 minute. Yeah.
Yes, sir, point of order. Sir, thank you so much, sir. You are very kind, sir. Sir, thank you. You are very kind and you are very generous on Monday afternoon. Sir, I draw your attention to a point of order. Thank you, sir. Page 92. Rule, the rule there. If you open page 92, you see in the last 6 years, not even 1267 opposition has been accepted by this government. Not even one. Today we are raising on ED. Today we are raising on our colleague Sanjay Raut. Not even one. There is a rape. There is a rape in Gujarat. It is not
Consideration of the chairman, and the chairman has given. Chairman has already given his decision. It is up to the chairman, and chairman has already given his ruling. So we should not question his ruling. Now, Honourable Minister.
We are not. 267.
Honourable Minister to reply.
Chairman, sir, we've had a prolonged discussion on the weapons of mass destruction and the delivery systems amendment bill. I compliment all the members who have spoken, and I note that there has been unanimous support for the bill, that the majority of members have actually made common points. Very briefly, sir, all members have recognized that terrorism is a serious threat, that weapons of mass destruction are a serious threat, that there is a gap in the law. Currently, the law only covers trading, it doesn't cover financing. This gap needs to be filled because recommendation 7 of the Financial Action Task Force requires all countries, including us, to ensure that assets financing for WMD-related activities is prohibited. So, keeping in mind the lacuna of the law, current law, we have brought this amendment. I believe this is good.
Please go to your seat. Please go to your seat. Please.
This is good for the security of the country. This is good for the reputation of the country. I would commend the law for the commend the amendment for the consideration of the House. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I shall now put the motion moved by Sri S. Jaishankar to vote. The question is that the weapons of mass destruction and their delivery systems, prohibition and unlawful activities, Amendment Bill 2022 as passed by Lok Sabha be taken into consideration. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted. We shall now take up clause by clause consideration of the bill. Clause 2 stands part of the bill. There are two amendments, number 1 and number 2 by John Brittas. Brittas, are you moving your amendment? I am moving. Amendment moved. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the noes have it, the noes have it, the noes have it. The amendments are negative. I shall now put clause 2 to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clause 2 is adopted. Clause 1, the enacting formula and the title stands part of the bill. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I I think the ayes have it. Clause 1, the enacting formula and the title are adopted. Now, Sri Jaishankar to move that the bill be passed.
I rise to move that the bill opens the mass destruction and the delivery systems, prohibition of unlawful activities, Amendment Bill 2022 be passed.
Motion moved that the bill be passed. The question is that the bill be passed. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. The bill is passed. Now we'll take up the Indian Antarctic Bill 2022. Dr. Jitendra Singh to move a motion for consideration of the Indian Antarctic Bill 2020.
For the national measures for protecting the Arctic environment and dependent and associated and to give effect to the Antarctic Treaty, the Convention on the Conservation of Antarctic Marine Living Resources and to the Protocol on Environment Protection to the Antarctic Treaty and for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto as passed by Lok Sabha may be taken into consideration by this House.
Will the minister say something? Will you say on the bill?
Sir, the Lok Sabha has already passed this bill. As we all know, Antarctica is a very unique land with an area of 14 million square kilometer. It's virtually a no man's land, but has certain constraints of geopolitics. We have 4 treaties in place as far as the Antarctic continent is concerned. That is the Antarctic Treaty, the Convention on Antarctic, the Preservation of Marine and Protocol on Environment. Now, as far as the Antarctic Treaty is concerned, it was signed in 1959. India became a signatory in 1983. And of the total 54 countries or the nations which are signatory to this treaty, India is among those 29 who have a consultative status, and on the consultative members, it is mandatory that they bring in a law which is applicable
when the
to
members
their
are involved.
areas of establishment.
If everybody
As we all know,
I allow you.
India has 2 establishments over there, one the Maitri, the other the Bharati. And therefore, in order to take care of any inappropriate or offensive act happening over there, I seek the endorsement of this House, as also already proposed by the lower house, that a bill, the legislation may be brought in so that the Indian law would be applicable on the Indian jurisdiction therein. After the legislation is passed, a committee will be constituted to frame the rules. I therefore request that the bill may be considered and passed.
I have told you all will have to go to your own seats, and then I will allow the point of order. You go to your seats. You go to your respective seats. You cannot sit anywhere. You have respective seats. So you and I'll listen to you, Mr. Siba. I'll listen to you. Let the House be in order. I'll listen to you, Mr. Siba. So the motion moved. There is one amendment by Dr. John Brittus for reference of the Indian Antarctic Bill 2022 as passed by Lok Sabha to a select committee of the Rajyasabha. Member John Brittus, are you moving your amendment?
Sir,
you are moving?
Sir, I am moving the amendment.
All right, all right, very good. Motion moved. So, the motion for consideration of the bill and the amendment moved thereto are now open for discussion. Member desiring to speak, they can speak, and yeah. I have allowed you. I I have allowed you. The Jan Vikas has moved an amendment. He has the right. He has the right. He has moved the amendment. Don't talk, please go to your seat. Don't bring disorder. Mr. Vikas has moved his amendment. He has the first opportunity. Now you raise your point out of it. And you all go to your seat.
Mr. Vice Chairman, unnecessarily our energy is being extracted. Sir, you don't turn to our side at all, sir. Sir, I have to express our grievance. When the
Under what rule, Mr. Siba?
What, sir, you know the rule 258, shall I read it out?
Please read it out.
What is it? 258, you know very well. I'll read it out again and again.
That's a general rule.
Any member may at any time submit a point of order for the decision of the chairman, but in doing so shall confine himself to stating the point. Yes, I'm confining myself to the point. Sir, when the weapons of mass destruction in the delivery system bill was passed, no, this is your chair. Why are you interfering? Why are you interfering?
Mr. Siba, don't. No, that is not the way. You address the chair. You address the chair. You are not addressing the chair. You are addressing others. You address the chair.
When you put it to voice,
you address the chair.
I am addressing you only. When it was put to voice vote, Mr. Elamar and Karim stood up and asked for division, sir. It was not at all heard. He was not at all looked upon. The bill was passed without giving respect to a member's. He raised the valid point. He wanted a division.
Yeah.
So the chair should give equal importance to us.
Yes.
Sir, we are shouting for what, sir?
Yes.
For what, sir?
Please be seated.
You can't pass the bill, and when the house is in order,
Let me
you are asking the
react to
assembly
Mr.
be
Elman and Karim. Please be seated.
I repeatedly asked
You
didn't hear that.
You see, no, you cannot hear.
I was on my seat.
Members were on the well of the house shouting all sorts of things. So you cannot raise a point of order from the well of the house. You cannot demand a division from the well of the house. From the well of the house, you cannot demand division from the well of the house. No, you cannot. You should have requested your colleagues to maintain order, always in the well of the house. When Mr. Siba wanted to raise something, I heard him. When I wanted to, Mr. Derek O'Brien raised the point of order, I have heard him. But when the house is not in order, you all are in the well, you are in the disorderly manner. How can I give you a division? It was not heard. Now let me make it clear. You go to your seat. Then only I can allow. No, you are disturbing your own opposition. No. Congress party is disturbing its own leader of the opposition. You are not allowing him to speak. Leader of the house wants to speak, but you are not allowing. Congress party is not allowing him to speak. Yeah. Go to your seat. You are disturbing your leader of the opposition. No. Congress party is disturbing its own leader of the opposition. How can the house function like this?
No. देखिए, एक चीज तो है कि हाउस ऑर्डर में नहीं था, तो आप बिल पास कर लिए, और जब हाउस ऑर्डर में नहीं था, उस वक्त इधर के मेंबर को बोले कि पॉइंट ऑफ ऑर्डर हाउस पहले क्लियर करो, उसके बाद दे दो। ये इनजस्टिस है और ये इट इज अनफेयर, वन थिंग। सेकेंडली, सर, I wish to draw a matter of grave procedural irregularity. I have addressed a letter
on 29 July 2022. In this regard, wherein I had drawn attention to the fact that reference made by Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman and Sri Piyush Goyal on 28 July 2022 to Srimati Sonia Gandhi, who is a member of the other house, is in gross violation of the time-honored parliamentary convention. I had sought expunge of those words of the aforementioned reference made by Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman and Sri Piyush Goyal, and also sought their apology.
If the chairman will look into the report,
how much time it takes? How much time?
It will,
Sir, I have written a letter on 29th.
You cannot defy the
I have
chairman.
written a letter on
You cannot
29th.
defy the chairman.
You are taking so
Mr.
much,
Leader of the
and
opposition,
it
let
is a
me make it
established
clear. It is under consideration of the honorable chairman. Leave it to that. It is under consideration of the honorable chairman. Leave it to that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, Sri Nadimal Haq, Leader of the House.
Unfortunate that the leader of the opposition is casting aspersion on the chair. The honorable chair is fair, and it's unfortunate that the leader of the opposition is alleging that the bill was passed even though the house was in disorder. None of our members was responsible for the disorder. The members of the opposition are creating disorder and then raising a point of order. I think the opposition should not take these dilatory tactics. We have agreed for a debate on price rise. The assurance of the collective opposition was that once the price rise discussion starts, they will allow the house to run normally. I think it's high time the opposition stops running away from the debate on price rise. I think this opposition does not want a debate on price rise. They know that they are in the dock. They know that this government has taken very effective steps to stop price rise, reduce the burden of inflation on the common man. It is the opposition-ruled states who have not yet reduced the VAT on petrol and diesel. They know very well that they are responsible. They are responsible in their states for the price rise. And therefore, the opposition is running away. The opposition is running away from the debate on price rise by raising all these issues. They should sit in their chair, allow discussion, allow debate, then they can have a solution also. They should stop casting aspersions on the chair.
All right, Honorable LOP has raised an issue. Honorable LOP has raised an issue, and the Leader of the House has properly replied. So the debate on price rise will take up tomorrow. The Leader of the House has already promised that debate on price rise will be held tomorrow. So now you go to your seat. You go to your seat. Go to your seat. Mr. Nadimal Haq will on the bill. Nadimal Haq, I have called Nadimal Haq, not you, Nadimal Haq. No point of order when the house is in disorder. The house is in, you go to your seats, then there can be point of order. How can there be point of order when the house is in disorder? Nadimal Haq.
When the house will be in order, sir, you are not allowing point of order.
महंगाई के विषय में कल चर्चा होगी. जाइए, अपने सीट पे जाइए.
Sir,
Are you speaking?
sir, I'm here, sir.
Okay.
The house is not in order, sir. See, the members are sitting on there. The members are sitting on there.
So, you appeal your own members.
The members are sitting in the well of the house, sir. How can you allow the bill discussion on the bill, sir? How can you allow? Sir, people ask, other members are asking for point of order. They are sitting in the well of the house. You are not allowing that.
I cannot take any point of order when the people are sitting here. No. It cannot go simultaneously. You make disorder and you want to use point of order. There is no point of order in the melee of disorder. No. Yes.
How can you allow, sir? It is total injustice. The house is not in order. The house is not in order, sir. How can you allow?
So will you speak?
I am speaking, sir.
Will you
I am
speak?
already speaking on it.
So please speak on the bill. No. That is not the subject. You speak on the subject.
All the leaders
You
of
speak
the
on the
house
subject.
are sitting in the
Yes.
well. So please bring the house in order.
You speak
My
on-
leaders are sitting over there.
They are your own members. They are your own members. You appeal to them so that they can go. And now
Please bring the house
I'll
in
call the
order,
next
sir.
speaker,
Sir.
M. Muhammad Abdullah. M. Muhammad Abdullah. Not present. Then Sri Sujit Kumar. Sri Sujit Kumar on this bill. No point of order when the house is in disorder and you have to go to your seat. Everybody will have to go to your seat, then only. Mr. Sujit Kumar.
Sir,
Yes, so Mr. Sujit Kumar, only your speech will go on record, nothing else. Nothing else will go on record, only Sujit Kumar's speech will go on record.
thank you, sir. Sir, I stand on behalf of my party to support the bill because it's very much in the interest of the nation. Sir, we have two permanent stations in Antarctica, Maitri and Bharti. Sir, we had one station called Dakshin Gangotri way back in 1980. Sir, many countries are engaged in various kind of activities in Antarctica, just like we do. India is a signatory to the Antarctica Treaty amongst the 54 countries that are signatory to the treaty. India is also a member of the National Antarctic Program called COMNAP and Scientific Committee of Antarctica Research. So these are very important platforms, international platforms, which shows the significance and the clout of India in Antarctica. Now, sir, why there is a need for this bill? Sir, out of the 54 countries, 27 countries have enacted domestic legislation to regulate activities in Antarctica. Now, sir, the responsibility for undertaking any activity in Antarctica, whether it's fishing or whether it's logistics or whether it is scientific research, lies with the country that sets up the station in Antarctica. Hence, sir, there is a need for this bill. Sir, also, sir, as we all know, climate change is a reality now, and the activities and the research program of India in Antarctica is only going to increase. In the future, sir, we also anticipate that there will be a lot of shipping, lot of tourism from India going to Antarctica. As of now, there is no shipping or no tourism allowed in Antarctica from India, but in the future when it's allowed, then I think, sir, there will be definitely a need to regulate these activities as per the international norms and international conventions. Hence, sir, there is a need for this domestic legislation. Sir, this is also, sir, in sync with the emergence of India as a major global power in various sectors. Now, sir, why and how this framework will be in India's interest? First of all, sir, because this will lead to standardization of environmental quality.
Procedure that's being followed.
That it will lead to standardization of environmental clarity in tune with domestic environmental legislations. Secondly, sir, it will give a huge boost to domestic research, scientific research, and I have said this time and again that we as a nation spend very less on research. As a nation, we spend only 0.7% of our GDP on scientific research. So I think, sir, this bill, when enacted into an act, will give a boost to scientific research in our country. Hence, we welcome this bill. finally, sir, when the world is looking at alternate logistics network, alternate supply chain, I think, sir, India has a great opportunity to emerge as a supply chain provider of the world. So, sir, our shipping industry will also get a boost when there is regulation and when we are in tune with global conventions and norms. So, all in all, sir, I think this is a wonderful bill which will help India realize its dream of becoming a $5 trillion economy, give boost to scientific research, and finally give a boost to our scientific community. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next speaker is Niranjan Reddy, Singapore. Please. So don't disturb. It's a maiden speech. You can speak. You can take your time. It's a maiden speech. I'll allow you.
I thank the Honorable Speaker, sir, for giving me the opportunity to speak. But this is my first opportunity of speaking in the August House. So I would want to start my speech by thanking the person who made it possible for me to come to this house and address this great house, that is my Chief Minister, Mr. Jagan Mohan Reddy. Then, sir, on the bill, I am standing to support the bill on behalf of my party because this is a bill that shows India as a consultative partner. India is amongst the only 29 consultative partners that has been accorded a status to be consulted with regard to the actions on Antarctica. I commend the government for bringing this bill because in that special capacity as a consultative partner, I think it is our responsibility to ensure that we do this environmentally important activities, sir. Sir, while I support the bill entirely, I have a few constructive suggestions for the government and the Honorable Minister on 3 or 4 aspects. Sir, if I may have the Honorable Minister's attention, sir, I have 3 or 4 only constructive suggestions if you think it will help improve the bill. I support the bill fully. Sir, in the first instance, there are 4 points on which I want to make constructive suggestions. The first suggestion, sir, is on the extent and applicability of the Act. Sir, I think unwittingly, the Act seems to confine itself only to expeditions that are undertaken by the Indian government. Sir, if I may draw your attention to 2 sections, Section 2, which deals with any person, and Section 3(1)(k). So 3(1)(k) defines Indian expedition to be a journey undertaken by any person or persons to the Antarctica organized by India. Sir, as a lawyer, I understand that this expression can be understood to mean that if it is the government that is undertaking an expedition, only then this act would be applicable. From the statement of objects and reasons, sir, I see that the intention seems to be that this must be made applicable to whoever is traveling from India on a permit given by our country under this act. Because you're also bringing in tour operators. So just a small clarification. One would be expeditions organized by India, and sir, some other countries have the feature which provides for or permit granted under this act. If only those words are added, permit granted under this act, any private tour operator, any private expedition, any private research organization, because they will be taking a permit under this act, they will be covered by the act, and they will not be able to say that act as it stands would not apply to private players. This is the first of the suggestions. So the second of the suggestions I have. So the second suggestion I have is with regard to the committee's composition. I have no quarrel with the composition as such, sir, but it provides for 10 members of the level of under-secretary or more. It provides only for 2 scientific or independent experts. So this is an act that deals with environment, and it also requires the committee to consider environmental aspects. So sir, I am only making a humble suggestion that if you could consider having this independent experts number increased to 4 or 5, because they may be able to assess the committee better. So the third suggestion of mine is with regard to the functioning of the committee. So section 25 provides that the committee will also monitor the activities in relation to permits granted. That's a very salutary feature, because it is not a committee that is only going to be granting permits and doing nothing more. So if the committee has to monitor, sir, I find one small lacuna in the Act, which is that there is no provision made for any permit holders after completing their expedition to come back and submit a compliance report. So sir, if you can bring in a feature that whoever is permitted, the permit is for a particular length of time. After the length of time, if they can come, they are required to come back and submit a compliance report, then the committee would be able to monitor it. Sir, you have a feature similar like this with regard to section 38, where if it is a waste disposal requirement, they have to come back and submit a compliance. So it is a part of the Act, but it is there only for waste and sewage disposal. It is not there in relation to the other conditions which can be laid down as a part of granting the permit itself. So the third one suggestion I have, and I think this is going to be a little critical, sir, for the functioning of the Act, is the
Honorable member,
granted under
honorable
section
member,
27.
honorable member, you address the chair.
I'm sorry. My apologies. The Honorable Speaker, sir, section 27 provides for the permit which is to be granted. It provides, sir, for 3 steps for a person seeking permit, even if it's a tour operator undertaking a tour or any scientific expedition. Our Act is a little cumbersome because it is providing for 3 different steps. So if I may show section 27, and if I seek your indulgence to refer to it very briefly. First instance, step number 1, whoever is applying for grant of any permit must undertake one environment impact assessment under section 27(5), sir. After he makes that assessment, he will then make an application to the committee. The committee will then decide if this would have any minor or transitional impact on environment. If it so feels, step 2, it will ask these persons to undertake an initial environment assessment study. If after that initial assessment is done, sir, if they find that it is likely to cause more damage, then they will ask them to submit a comprehensive environment assessment, sir. Sir, just for illustration, sir, I'll just take 2 or 3 more minutes. I'm just making some important legal points, yes, sir, but only for consideration.
Okay, conclude.
Yes, sir. Sir, the 3-stage process is slightly removed from comparable international legislations like UK and US, sir, where US provides that in the first instance, if the person starting the project himself knows that this is likely to cause considerable, more than normal damage, he can directly apply by saying that I have undertaken this comprehensive environment impact assessment. Please consider for the serious one only. Otherwise now, sir, if someone wants to carry out any expedition which may have more than minor consequences, 3-stage process is provided, sir. And sir, in the comparable laws, if the first study reports that it is likely to cause less than minor damage, sir, then the expedition can start straight away.
Yeah. Your party time is over, but since you are a new member and it is your maiden, no, you can make it. It is your maiden speech. Since it is your maiden speech, I allow you time.
Yes, sir. And I am going to take only 1 or 2 more minutes, sir. I don't want to claim that privilege and waste the House's time. Sir, the last of my suggestions is with regard to the court's jurisdiction. Sir, we are to constitute special courts under section 48. And sir, very importantly, I commend the government for thinking through this. In 48(5), it provides that even if an offence is committed on the Antarctica glacier or the lands, it will be deemed that it has been committed in India. So this is very important so that it takes away any allegations of extraterritorial application. By law, it can be deemed to have been committed in India. Sir, but while we make this provision in 48(5), I find that we are missing out a similar provision under 48(6). 48(6) again is a very important feature where you provide that apart from any offence under this act, if a person is committing any other offence, the special court can try the other offence also. But when you are providing for the other offence to be tried, sir, the bill does not provide that even that offence will be deemed to have been committed within the territory of India, because if it provides that it is so committed, so deemed, like under 48(5), there won't be a problem. Otherwise, sir, tomorrow someone might say that an offence under this act can be tried in India because 48(5) provides for it, but an offence, let me say, under IPC or some other provision cannot be tried in India because 48(6) does not provide for it. So the last of my suggestions, I have completed my suggestions on the legalities of the bill, sir. So this is a forward-looking, timely bill, espouses India as an environmentally responsible state, and in the global order that we are seeking to achieve, where we want to be the forerunner of environmental issues. So this is a very, very important bill. Sir, I would conclude by only making one more request, sir. So this is a very salutary bill in respect of any expeditions to Antarctica. Sir, I suggest that we have a few ecologically sensitive areas in the immediate neighborhood of India, like Andaman, Corals, we have Lakshadweep. I am only suggesting, sir, the government may consider taking a cue from what we are doing in respect of Antarctica bill. If we can come up with some other bill for ensuring that we also protect the ecologically sensitive regions in our immediate vicinity and a part of our territorial limits. Sir, I thank you all for granting me the opportunity.
Thank you. The next speaker is Sri A.A. Rahim. But Mr. A.A. Rahim. So he is not going to speak, looks like. The next speaker is Sri J.K. Vasan. J.K. Vasan.
The aim of the bill is to take national preventive
You
measures
go to your seat. You
to
go to
protect
your
the
seat.
environment of Antarctica.
Mr. Sanjay
The
Kumar,
bill now
please go
puts
to
into
your seat.
place a comprehensive list of
Don't disturb the member.
related to Antarctica for scientific
Don't disturb the member.
exploitation as well as individuals, companies,
Later.
and tourists, sir. The bill is the need of the hour, not only for our country but also for the world, sir. I extend my support to this bill, sir.
Thank you. Srimati Priyanka Chaturvedi. Priyanka Chaturvedi. Not present. Sri Ramji. Sri Ramji. Professor Ram Gopal Yadav. Then Sri Abdul Wahab. Wahabji. Will you speak, please?
This one we are talking about climatic change in Antarctica, but I am asking the democratic climate in India. Yes. First you make the democratic climate in India in order, then we can talk about Antarctica climate.
Speak on the subject. All right, thank you. The next speaker is Srimati Bandana Chavan. Bandana Chavan.
Sir, there's so much disruption
All
in the
right.
House and we are not getting a chance to speak.
Yes,
Become issue
yes,
for us,
yes.
sir.
You are very right. You are very right. You are disturbing the honourable members. The House is missing good contributions to this House. The House is missing good contributions which could have been made by Sri Bandana Chavanji. The next speaker is Binay Vishwam. Binay Vishwam. Not speaking. Now, Sri Sushil Modi.
राष्ट्रपति महोदय, मैं इंडिया अंटार्कटिक बिल 2022 के पक्ष में बोलने के लिए खड़ा हुआ हूँ। सर, अंटार्कटिका इज a history of 140 years के 20वीं शताब्दी के प्रारंभ में अनेक एक्सप्लोरर्स ने समुद्री यात्रा की, लेकिन कोई सफल नहीं हुआ। लेकिन 15 दिसंबर 1911 को रोनाल्ड एमर्सन ने पहली बार साउथ पोल पहुंचा और जिंदा वहां से लौट कर आया। सर, द आइस सीट इज द सिंगल लार्जेस्ट पीस ऑफ आइस ऑन दिस अर्थ। अगर साउथ पोल की अगर आइस मेल्ट करने लग जाए तो पैसिफिक और इंडियन ओशन के बहुत सारे जो आइलैंड है वो खतरे में पड़ जाएंगे। और सती महोदय, ये 5th लार्जेस्ट कॉन्टिनेंट ऑन अर्थ with a geographical area of 14 million square kilometer. It is the coldest, driest and windiest continent. और वहाँ मुश्किल से 1000-1500 लोगों की आबादी है। और वो जो 40 रिसर्च स्टेशन हैं, वहीं पर वो लोग सालों भर काम करते हैं। और जैसा बताया कि भारत के भी 2 स्टेशन हैं, मैत्री और भारती। और टूरिस्ट की भी संख्या जो है, जहां 2015 में 36,000 थी, वो बढ़कर 73,000 वहां पर संख्या हो गई है। सौती महोदय, इस बिल के पास होने के बाद मैराइन फिशिंग करने का जो काम है, जिसमें तक भारत शामिल नहीं हुआ है, भारत को शामिल होने का उसके अंदर मौका मिलेगा। और सौती महोदय, भारत सरकार इंस्पेक्शन टीम का गठन कर सकती है। इस बिल में इंस्पेक्शन का प्रावधान है, पेनल्टी का प्रावधान है। अगर कुछ प्रावधानों का अगर कोई उल्लंघन करता है तो उसके लिए पेनल्टी का प्रावधान है। और अंटार्कटिका फंड के गठन करने का भी इसमें प्रावधान किया गया है। और साथ ही साथ अगर कोई प्रोविजंस का उल्लंघन करता है तो डेजिग्नेटेड कोर्ट्स को उनको ये अधिकार दिया गया है कि वो उस पर कार्रवाई कर सके। तो सौती महोदय, मैं इस बिल का समर्थन करता हूं और सदन से भी आग्रह करता हूं कि सर्वसम्मति से इस बिल को पारित करें।
Mr. Sambidurai, let it be over, then I'll take. I'll take it. I'll take it. Dr. Thambidurai.
The Indian Atomic Bill 2022 was introduced in Lok Sabha on 1st April 2022. The bill aims to provide for the national measures for protecting the Antarctic environment and dependent on associated ecosystems, and to bring effect to the Antarctic Treaty, the Convention on the Conservation of Marine Living Resources, and to protocol the environmental protection to the Antarctic Treaty for the matter. Sir, I am ADMK party. We are supporting the bill, and the only thing, sir, we have to see, as our Modi government is taking a lot of measures, our ADMK is supporting all the things. Therefore, the bill is a nice bill of brought for especially environment protection, and also putting research in the Antarctica thing. Already we are having stations there to see that the government intention is a good intention. Therefore, ADMK party is supporting the bill unanimously, sir. Thank you very much.
The next speaker is K. Ravindra Kumar.
Sir, Honorable Chairman, I am very thankful to you for allowing me to participate in the discussion and passing the Indian Antarctic Bill 2022. I and my party Television wholly supported the bill. Sir, Antarctica is a very in the earth. The total extent of Antarctica is 14 million square meter. It is occupied mostly by researchers and scientists. The bill proposed to prohibit Indian expedition of Antarctica or carrying certain activities in Antarctica without a permit or the written authorization of the another party to the protocol. Establish a committee to be called the Committee on Antarctica Governance and Environmental Protection, which shall perform the functions specified therein. Provide for inspection in India by an officer designated by the central government as an inspector, and to constitute an inspection team to carry out inspections in Antarctica. Provided for penalty for contravention of certain provision of the bill. Provided for the constitution of the fund called Antarctica Fund, which shall be applied towards the welfare Antarctica research work and protection of Antarctica environment. Provide for designated codes and their jurisdiction. The bill aims to promoting Antarctica as a nature of reserve as a devoted science and so ensure that Antarctica does not become the international. So the bill aims to promoting Antarctica as a natural reserve. With these submissions, I once again supporting the bill.
Please go to your seat. I'll take the point of order of Santanu Sen. Mr. Santanu Sen, you have a point of order. Please, under what rule?
Point of order, sir.
First, you go back to your seat. Otherwise, I will not. No, I cannot take point of order unless you go to your seat. You go to your seat. How can I take? It's a disorder. It's a disorder. There has to be order, then I will take point of order. Santanu Sen. Santanu Sen.
1 second. Sir? Sir?
You go back to your seat. I have to hear Santanu Sen. Go back to your seat. No, not here. No. This is not your place. You are an honorable member. You have been allotted a seat there. Don't bring dishonor to this house. Don't bring dishonor to this house, Mr. Sanjay Singh. Go to your seat. Go to your seat.
1 second, Sanjay.
Go to your seat. Go to your seat. I have allowed Santanu Sen.
1 second. Sir?
I have allowed Santanu Sen, provided you all go to your seat. You all go to your seat. Then I cannot take. I cannot. You are bringing dishonor. You are bringing dishonor to this house. How can I say that you are honorable? You are bringing dishonor to this house, Mr. Santanu Sen. आप चुप पे जाइए, चुप पे जाइए. You allow him. You allow him.
Next second. Sir,
You go back to your seat.
1 second.
You go back to your seat.
1 second.
You go back to your seat.
Sir, 1 second. 1 second.
You allow.
My point of order.
Mr. Santanu Sen, I have allowed you, but your own members are not allowing you. Your own members are disturbing you. Your own members are disturbing you. Mr. Santanu Sen, please raise your point of order. Please raise your point of order. But your own members are disturbing you.
258. 1 second. My point.
Your own members are disturbing you. So they have to go back to their seat. You call your party members to go back to their seat.
1 second.
You go back to your seat, then only I can hear him. Nobody is hearing anything. No, I am listening to you. I have the ear, but others are not listening to you. I am listening to you. Your own members are not listening to you.
1 second. Sir,
Your own members are not
now
listening.
they are silent.
I am listening to you.
Now they are silent. Now
Mr. Santanu Sen, I have allowed you, I am listening, but your own members are not listening. You make an appeal to your own members so that they can go to your seat.
Please don't shout at them.
You appeal to your leader. You appeal to your leader so that you can get some time.
You remain silent. They are listening to me. They are listening to me. You kindly remain silent. Sir, my point of order is under Rule 258.
But you allow your members to go to their seat.
Sir, my point of order is under Rule 258.
I am hearing you, but they are not hearing you.
They are listening.
You go to your seat and take this one. Go. Please go. Please go to your seat. 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 Let Santanu Sen speak. Let Santanu Sen raise his point of order. He is not being able to do that because of his own members. Because of his own members, because of his own party members are disturbing Santanu Sen. So you go back to your seat. Please go back to your seat and listen to the member.
Now they are not disturbing. My point of order.
No, it is disturbing others because let them go to their seat. No. This is.
Sir, they are not shouting.
They are disturbing the chair. How can I listen to you? They are disturbing the chair. How can I listen to you?
How you are listening?
How can I listen to you when your own members are disturbing? They are bringing disorder. They are not listening to you. Your own members are not listening to you.
On the bill, sir. Then how are you listening to the discussion on bill?
Please go back to your seat. No, I have allowed Santanu Hussain. You please go back to your seat. 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 I have allowed Santanu Hussain. I have allowed Santanu Hussain. Please go back to your seat. Please go back to your seat. In a disorderly manner, I cannot take your point of order. Yes, I cannot. I cannot. Yes. Yeah. But in that case, go back to your seat. I am giving you 1 minute. Go back to your seat.
Sir, you tell the point. Tell the point. Sir, my point of order under Rule 258. I have seen.
अपने सीट पे जाइए. अपने सीट पे जाइए. They are not listening to you. They are not listening. You request them.
Sir, I have seen the. Perhaps I have seen.
Nothing can be heard, Mr. Santanu Hussain. Your members are disturbing. Your members are disturbing. I'll listen to you once the House is in order. I shall first put the amendment moved by. Now I'll take the bill. I shall now put the amendment moved by John Britas for reference of the Indian Antarctic Bill 2022 as passed by Lok Sabha to a select committee of Rajyasabha to vote. John Britas.
Sir. I am
okay, so you have moved it. Yeah. Heard the amendment of John Britas. Minister, will you say something?
Sir, I request the chair to move the bill for being passed. I have carefully listened to all the speakers. I thank them, Mr. Sujit Kumar, Mr. Niranjan Reddy, Mr. Sushil Modi, Mr. Thambi Durai, Ravindra Kumar, and Mr. Niranjan Reddy has made some very studied suggestions which have been taken note of. More or less they are already incorporated as a part of the bill, and when the rules are framed, the rest will be taken in. I request that the bill may be moved to be passed.
Thank you. I shall first put the amendment moved by Dr. John Britas for reference of the Indian Antarctic Bill 2022 as passed by Lok Sabha to a select committee of the Rajya Sabha to vote. The question is that the bill to provide for the national measures for protecting the Antarctic environment and dependent on and associated ecosystem, and to give effect to the Antarctic Treaty, the Convention and the conservation of Antarctic marine living resources, and to protocol on environment protections in the Antarctic Treaty, and for matters connected herewith for incidental thereto as passed by the Lok Sabha be referred to a select committee of Rajya Sabha consisting of the following members: Sri Vikas Ranjan Bhattacharya, John Britas, Professor Manoj Kumar Jha, Sri Jose K. Mani, A. Rahim, Sri Tirushi Shiva, Sri V. Sri Sivanasan, Sri K.C. Benugopal. Those in now I am moving the motion. Those in favor of it, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the noes have it. The noes have it. Amendment is negative. Now I shall now put the motion moved by Dr. Jitendra Singh to vote. The question is that the Indian Antarctic Bill 2022 as be taken into consideration.
I have asked for division. I have asked for division.
Let the lobby be clear, deal with division. चिंता करो It's division is going on. You are a new member, this is the procedure. Division. You go to your cast your vote. Process of division has started already. No point of order. No point of order. And if you have to take part in the division, go to your seats. Mr. Bitas, you wanted division. How can there be division? How can there be division?
Sir, it is your responsibility to bring. It is your responsibility. I am only individual member. How can I insist? Let them cooperate. Sir,
Members,
sir, I will reply.
you appeal to your members to cooperate. They are not cooperating.
It is your responsibility.
I'm listening to you.
Sir, it is your responsibility. It is not the responsibility of a member. It is your responsibility and the cooperation that the government has to extend to the opposition. That matters. Let them cooperate with the opposition. Yeah. If you are unable to make the house in order, it is your responsibility. It's not my responsibility. Yes. Yes. Adjourn the house. Let the government cooperate.
Unless you go back to your seats, I cannot go with the voting process. I cannot go with the voting process. No point of order now. Division is time. No. There is no rule like that. Please. Unless you go to your seats, I cannot proceed with the voting. I cannot proceed with the voting unless you go to your seats. This is not the procedure. This is not the way. This is not the way. I allow division. I allow division. But what to do? See Mr. Emmanuel Karim. What is the fate? Now it looks like there is no demand for division now, and the members doesn't want division. Majority of the members doesn't want division, so I will not go for division now. Once again, I'll read the amendment by Dr. John Bhutas for reference of the Indian Interactive Bill 2022 as passed by Lok Sabha to a select committee of the Rajyasabha to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against please say no. I think the noes of it, amendment is negative. Now, I shall now put the motion moved by Dr. Jitendra Singh to vote. The question is that the Indian Interactive Bill 2022 as passed by Lok Sabha to be taken into consideration. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the motion is adopted. Now, we shall now take up clause by clause consideration of the bill. Clause 2 stands part of the bill. There is one amendment by Dr. John Bhutas. Are you moving?
Of course.
Yes. Amendment moved. Those in favor will please say aye. Those in against will please say no. I think the noes have it, the amendment is negative. I shall now put clause 2 to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, Clause 2 is adopted. Clause 1 stands part of the bill. Number 3 and 4, there are two amendments by Dr. John Bhutas. Will you move the amendment?
Yes, division, I have asked for division. You cannot deny my right. Rule number 252. Please read the rule book, sir.
Number 24 and 27 by Sri A. Rahim. Now I'll put the amendments both together to vote. I shall first put amendment moved by Dr. John Bhutas to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those in favor will please say no. I think the noes have it, the amendment is negative. I shall now put the amendments moved by Sri A. Rahim. A. Rahim, are you moving the amendment? Yes. Now I put the amendment into vote, moved by Sri A. Rahim. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the noes have it, the amendment are negative. I shall now put clause 3 to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, clause 3 is adopted. Clause 4 to 7 stand part of the bill. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, clause 4 to 7 is adopted. Clause 8 stands part of the bill. There is amendment by Sri A. Rahim. Mr. Rahim, are you amending? Number 28 and 29, moved by Sri A. Rahim. Mr. Rahim, are you moving the amendment? All right. Amendments moved. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the noes have it, the amendments are negative. I shall now put clause 8 to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, clause 8 is adopted. Clause 9 to 16 stand part of the bill. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the clause 9 to 16 are adopted. insertion of new clause 16A. There is one amendment for insertion of new clause 16A, number 19 by Dr. V. Sivadasan. Amendment moved. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the no's a bit, no, those a bit, the no's a bit. The amendment is negative. Clause 17 to 21 stand part of the bill. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes a bit, the ayes a bit, the ayes a bit. Clause 17 to 21 is adopted. Clause 22 stands part of the bill. There are two amendments. Amendment number 5 by Dr. John Britas and number 30 by Sri A. Rahim. John Britas, are you moving the amendment?
Sir,
Okay,
sir, I'm
okay.
moving.
Those
I want the government to accept.
now amendment
I request
moved.
the government.
Now I shall put the amendment moved by John Britas to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the no's a bit, the no's a bit, the no's a bit. The amendment is negative. Now I shall now put the amendment moved by Sri A. Rahim to vote.
Move.
Are you moving?
Yes, move.
Okay. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the no's a bit, the no's a bit, the no's a bit amendment is negative. I shall now put clause, there can't be division, there is no order. I shall now put clause 22 to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes a bit, the ayes a bit, the ayes a bit. Clause 22 is adopted. Clause 23 stands part of the bill. There are 7 amendments. Number 6 and 7 by Dr. John Britas. Are you moving? Okay. Amendment number 10 to 12 by Sri Binay Vishwam. Are you moving? All right. Number 20 and 21 by Dr. V. Sivadasan. Are you moving? All right. Amendments moved. I shall first put the amendments moved by Dr. John Britas to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the no's a bit, the no's a bit, the no's a bit. The amendments are negative. I shall now put the amendments moved by Binay Vishwam to vote. Are you moving? All right. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the no's a bit, the no's a bit, the no's a bit. The amendments are negative. I shall now put the amendments moved by Dr. V. Vote already moved. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the no's a bit, the no's a bit, the no's a bit. The amendments are negative. I shall now put clause 23 to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against please say no. I think the ayes a bit, the ayes a bit, the ayes a bit. Clause 23 is adopted. Clause 24 to 26 stands part of the bill. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes a bit, the ayes a bit, the ayes a bit. The clause 24 and 26, 24 to 26 are adopted. Clause 27 stands part of the bill. There are one amendment by number 31 by Sri A. Rahim. All right. Amendment moved. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the no's a bit, the no's a bit, the no's a bit. The amendment is negative. I shall now put clause 27 to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes a bit, the ayes a bit, the ayes a bit. Amended, clause 27 is adopted. Clause 28 stands part of the bill. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes a bit, the ayes a bit, the ayes a bit. Clause 28 is adopted. Clause 29 stands part of the bill. There are two amendments. Amendment number 13 by Binay Vishwam and number 12 by Sri A. Rahim. Amendment number 32 by Sri A. Rahim. Now, are you moving?
I move.
Amendments moved. I shall first put the amendment moved by Binay Biswam to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against?
Sir, all are in order.
Those in favor will please say aye. Those against? Those in favor will please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the noes have it, the noes have it, the noes have it. Amendment is negative. I shall now put the amendment moved by Sri A. Rahim to vote.
I move the amendment. Sir.
A. Rahim, are you moving? Yes. Amendment moved. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the noes have it, the noes have it, the noes have it. Amendment is negative. I shall now put clause 29 to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The clause 29 is adopted. Clause 30 to 34 stands part of the bill. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clause 30 to 34 is adopted. Clause 35 stands part of the bill. There are two amendments. Number 8 by Dr. John Brutus.
I am moving.
Number 33 by Sri A. Rahim. Amendments moved. I shall first put the amendment moved by Dr. John Brutus to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the noes have it, the noes have it, the noes have it. Amendment is negatived. I shall now put the amendment moved by A. Rahim to vote. Those in favor will please say ayes. Those against will please say no. I think the noes have it, the noes have it, the noes have it. Amendment is negative. I shall now put clause 35 to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clause 35 is adopted. Clause 36 to 40 stands part of the bill. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clause 36 to 40 is adopted. Clause 41 stands part of the bill. There are three amendments. Number 14 to 16 by Sri Vinay Vishyam. Amendments moved. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the noes have it, the noes have it, the noes have it. The amendments are negative. I shall now put clause 41 to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clause 41 is adopted. Clause 42 stands part of the bill. There are two amendments, number 17 and 18 by Sri Binay Viswam. Are you moving?
Yes.
Amendment moved. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the noes have it, the noes have it, the noes have it. Amendments are negative. I shall now put clause 42 to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clause 42 is adopted. Clause 43 to 47 stands part of the bill. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. Those, I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clause 43 to 47 are adopted. Clause 48 stands part of the bill. There is one amendment, number 34 by Sri A. Rahim. Are you moving?
Yes, sir.
Amendment moved. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the noes have it, the noes have it, the noes have it. The amendment is negative. I shall now put clause 48 to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clause 48 is adopted. Clause 49 to 55 stands part of the bill. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clause 49 to 55 are adopted. Clause 56 stands part of the bill. There is one amendment, number 9, by Dr. John Brutus. Are you moving?
Sir, I move them.
Amendment moved. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the noes have it, the noes have it, the noes have it. Amendment is negative. I shall now put clause 56 to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clause 56 is adopted. Clause 57 stands part of the bill. Those in favor will please say ayes. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clause 57 is adopted. Clause 1 stands part of the bill. There are two amendments, 22 and 23, by Sri A. Rahim. Mr. Rahim, are you moving the amendment?
Yes, sir, I move.
Amendments moved. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the noes have it, the noes have it, the noes have it. Amendments are negative. I shall now put the clause 1 to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clause 1 is adopted. The preamble stands part of the bill. There are one amendment. Number 1 by Dr. John Brutus. Are you moving?
I move the amendment, sir.
Amendments moved. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the noes have it, the noes have it, the noes have it. Amendment is negative. I shall now put the preamble to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The preamble is adopted. The enacting formula, the title stands part of the bill. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The enacting formula and the title are adopted. Dr. Jitendra Singh to move that the bill be passed.
Chairman, sir, with your permission, I move that the Indian Antarctica Bill 2022 be passed.
Motion moved that the bill be passed. The question is that the bill be passed. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The bill is passed. Now, lobby be open. The House stands adjourned to meet at 11 hours on Tuesday, the 2nd August 2022.